This video contains major spoilers for Endgame. Okay, so here we are starting the spoiler review. So, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so the movie starts with a sad scene. Hawkeye's family disappears after he's training his daughter. What do you think of this scene?
I didn't think that scene would be too good. Because, at the beginning of Infinity War was like Loki dying and the Asgardian ship and everything getting destroyed. I didn't think that they could top it, and I don't think that the dusting scene with Hawkeye's family was better, but I don't think that it was bad, because I know a lot of people didn't like that scene, but I liked it. I liked Hawkeye's character development as well.
And there's actually something they allude to. He calls his daughter Hawkeye at one point, which I thought could be setting up her becoming Hawkeye instead of Kate Bishop in the TV show.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I remember in one of my videos you said, well, he has a Disney Plus show coming out, but maybe in that show it's about his daughter taking up the mantle.
Yeah, and him kind of training her. And then, I forgot to say spoiler warning, but I'll put that at the start. Anyway, spoiler warning. And then it's kind of weird. I was kind of weird because the logo is actually just like a really happy song.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. And also the Marvel Studios thing, it dusted in, at the beginning of Infinity War, it dusted away, right? And for the trailers for Endgame, it dusted away, but it didn't dust away for Endgame, which I was really surprised about.
Yeah, it didn't dust away for Infinity War, but...
Oh, it didn't?
No, because it would be kind of a spoiler. And they also didn't use the 10-year logo, I don't think.
Well, I wasn't paying too much attention to the logos. I was just kind of surprised when it was really happy music. I guess it's kind of foreshadowing the fact that they are going to win.
Yeah, and the start, so the opening scene, the movie moves really fast is what I noticed, especially the first hour.
I love that. It was like super fast paced.
In the first 15, 20 minutes, they've already killed Thanos.
That was such a great scene. I love when they all just went in and attacked him.
And Captain Marvel just mows through him.
I'm happy that Captain Marvel didn't have a big role. I don't really like her. I mean, she's all right, but a lot of people were thinking like she would beat Thanos or something, but I would not want that at all.
Yeah, I feel like the
scene
where they're stranded in space is kind of too fast, I think, because they set it up so much in the trailer.
I know. That was crazy.
After just not even like 2 minutes, Captain Marvel's just there and saves them.
I think it was maybe 5 minutes. Now, I have a question for you. Do you think that the Avengers sent up Captain Marvel? Because I heard a lot of people saying that. Do you think that they sent him to look for Tony?
Yeah, because chronologically, the Captain Marvel credit scene takes place before the...
Oh, yeah. Because I was thinking, is Captain Marvel's credit scene all of a sudden not real now? We didn't see that, but I guess they probably found her using Fury's pager, and then, yeah.
I actually assumed it would have been a scene. That was one of my predictions, but it didn't happen.
Me too. I wish that was a scene. Actually, honestly, I'm fine with the way it played out, I guess. There's not many things that I would change in the movie.
I did actually predict that it would be Captain Marvel. At first, when the first trailer dropped, I thought it would be Rescue or Pepper Potts.
Me too. I thought it was either going to be Pepper Potts or Captain Marvel.
But as it got closer to the release, I was quite sure it was Captain Marvel. So... And then they go, and Tony's like really broken. He takes out his arc reactor, I think is what happened.
Oh yeah, well, that's when they get back to Avengers HQ, then they take out the arc reactor, yeah.
But wouldn't that kill him?
No, I don't think he doesn't need it, because remember at the beginning of Infinity War, when you first ever see him, he's jogging through a park with Pepper Potts. Yeah. And they're just talking about, like, having a kid or whatever, but I'm pretty sure there's a scene in that, like a sentence or whatever, Pepper Potts just like, you don't need that anymore, right? And he's like, yeah, I want to pull off one other surprise or whatever. That's kind of like why in the beginning of Endgame he says, I said I wanted to pull off one other surprise, but I couldn't or whatever. So I don't think that he needs it anymore. I think that he just used it so he could use his, what's it called? The bleeding edge armor, I think it is.
Yeah. And then there's a time jump, which a lot of people, including myself, predicted.
Okay, I thought that would happen, but I also didn't. So I don't know if you remember, but on Instagram and a lot of social media, they are talking about how there's going to be a time jump. Yeah. But they're saying that it was going to be 4 years. But then I'm just like, no, because the theory kind of really died down after a while.
After
Nobody really
the
talked about it.
trailers, yeah, but then...
It's true, though. It is 5-year time jump. I actually really like the time jump. I said this in my own video, in my own review, but I really like that time jump. Because we get a lot of things. We get, like, first of all, we get Morgan, Tony Stark's daughter. I really like her.
Yeah.
We get an older version of, is it Cassie? Is that Scott Lang's kid's
Yeah,
name?
it's Cassie that he saw in the door.
Yeah. In the comics, Cassie actually becomes a superhero called the Sting. And I feel like for Ant-Man 3, because I'm pretty sure they're making an Ant-Man 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Ant-Man 3, I feel like they're going to set that up.
That's what I thought is also. I think Ant-Man 3, this is just not about Endgame, but I have a theory that Ant-Man 3 will be called Team Ant-Man, because you have both Ant-Mans, both Wasps. You could do, you could bring in Goliath, you can bring back Ghost, and then you can also bring in Sting. So.
And you can also bring in Hope Van Dyne, I think it is, the old woman.
Yeah. And
they wanted to save, they could put that in.
You can have like a full team of Ant-Mans. Anyway.
I don't know if it would be called Ant-Man Team, but is there a name, maybe like the Hive or something? I don't know, a name for like a bunch of bugs together or something. Yeah. That's what they should call it.
That would work too.
Because I doubt that it would be called the Team, you know?
Ant-Man and the Hive is a potential.
Yeah, maybe. That's what I was thinking. And we're getting a little off topic, but yeah, I like the time jump because it opens a lot of new story.
And then he gets out of the
quantum realm
because a rat steps on the buttons or something.
Honestly, a lot of people were just like, "Oh yeah, what's the chances of a rat stepping on the button?" But it's been 5 years. I think that makes sense, right? Does that make sense to you? That the fact that something would have hit in the van?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that scene too when he's just like he wrote down "get help" or whatever.
And then
he held it up to the security camera. I like that.
And then he brings up the fact that they can use that time vents or whatever they're called to travel.
Oh yeah, time vortex.
To travel and pick up the stones. But
that was great.
Iron Man's like, no, I don't want to. I already have my second chance, which is great because it's true. He's kind of more happy now than he ever has been.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, of course, he'd want to be with Peggy, right? And you'd want to have Bucky back and everything. I get why they didn't, want to do it in the first place. Neither did Tony. I still don't get why Tony did it. If I had a family and all this, I would not risk my life. But he did.
What I thought of that scene, when it shows him working on the time travel, I think he was already working on the time travel before they approached him.
I've heard about that as well. Like,
the way
planning it over the 5 years.
And the way he reacts, is like he's been working on it for a long time and it finally works.
Also, I don't think he would just be able to crack time travel, right after dinner, you know? He found it out. If he didn't find it out, if he didn't start working on it before the Avengers contacted him, then, it wouldn't make sense, right? Because there's no way that he could figure that he could crack time travel in, a few days. So, yeah, he probably was working on it before. That would make the most sense.
And then you get Professor Hulk.
I was about to say that. That's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. I love Professor Hulk. I
kind of wish we got to see him become Professor Hulk is the only thing.
Me too. I did not expect, Professor Hulk to be such an early thing in the movie. I thought it was going to be, at the end of the movie, everyone's happy, and then, Bruce Banner finally finds a way to live both worlds. But no, it just happened, at the very beginning.
But my only problem with that, he doesn't get a lot to do. He doesn't get his rematch with Thanos. He's not. I don't think he's in the final battle.
I don't think he is either. I really wanted to see him have a rematch with Thanos. That would have been so good.
What about Fat Thor? What are your thoughts on Fat Thor?
Oh my god. It's good and it's bad. It's good because we need a new look and it makes sense, right? He's lost everything and he feels like he failed everyone. So it would make sense that he'd go into some fat drinking depression or whatever. But it's also bad because it's so weird to take him seriously. In the final battle when he has Stormbreaker and Mjolnir and he's fighting Thanos or whatever and he's just getting hit a bunch of times. I'm okay, this is a cool fight, right? But this guy looks like Santa Claus and he's fighting. It looks so ridiculous sometimes. I hope that they change that. It was funny for this movie.
I wish he would. Fat Thor's fine, but then at the end, I wish he would, kind of revert back to his first look.
Me too. Maybe, after they killed Thanos, or after Tony dusted Thanos, that it would have been some sort of wake-up call. I was thinking he's going to switch back because his mom said something about eating a salad or whatever. I don't know why, but I feel like he just have a soft spot for his mom.
And then we get to the time travel. They all go into the quantum realm, and they split up. And let's just start with the New York, I guess.
I love that, the Battle of New York.
It has a lot.
I love seeing Hulk interact with the Ancient One as well.
And it has tons of cameos from S.H.I.E.L.D. characters.
Oh yeah, there's Crossbones was in the elevator. Okay, when he walked through the elevator with all of those Hydra, or I guess at the time S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, I was just like, wait, isn't this supposed to happen in Winter Soldier? You know, because I thought that he was gonna be like, okay, anyone want to get out? And I thought he was gonna fight everyone, but no, I guess not.
He does Hail Hydra.
The Hail Hydra, yeah.
That was the first time my theater cheered, was when he said that.
Yeah, I love that. It's also in the comics. He says Hail Hydra. That was a huge thing, like a year ago.
And then they have the stones, but Loki took the Tesseract, which I thought Loki might come back at the end of the movie, but I think that's going to set up his spin-off show.
That's what a lot of people are thinking. I also think that. That would be cool.
And then they go to the past, like the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters or something, and they get Pym particles and the other stone. And when Captain America is in the elevator with that girl, I just heard a lot of people saying it was like a cameo from the Russo Brothers' old show, but I thought at first it was the woman in Civil War that told Tony that they had killed her daughter.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that. I thought it was some sort of cameo, because I'm like, this is weird. There's no way that, like, I don't know. Sometimes you can tell, right? You can tell if it's going to be a cameo or something, because the way that entire scene was set up, it just seems pretty weird.
And then you get the heartwarming scene between Tony and his father.
Oh my god, that was crazy. Imagine actually interacting with your dead father.
And then
that would be so crazy.
And then there was the Stan Lee cameo, which was the second time my theater cheered.
My theater cheered a lot. I don't know the order, but they cheered a lot. And talked a lot, honestly.
Especially
like when Thanos got beheaded, they were just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. They started going crazy.
And then Cap sees Peggy through the window, which was kind of set up for the end of the movie, which we'll get to later.
What I don't get is how Peggy didn't see him through the windows.
That's what I was thinking, that she was going to see him. Because they were kind of open. Like, if he could see her, she could probably see him, unless it was like one-sided glass.
I don't think it was one-sided glass, because you also get a camera angle through Peggy's point of view, and you can see, like, Captain America looking through the glass, right? So
yeah,
I think Peggy's just dumb in this situation.
And then
I don't think she can notice.
And then you have Hank Pym, who's kind of weird.
He was so weird back then. I mean, I'm not surprised, but like, he just looked so crazy.
And then there's
Get out of my way.
the Vormir.
That scene was actually really sad.
Who did you think, when they first got, who did you think it was going to be that had to die?
I thought it was going to be Clint Barton, honestly. I didn't think it would be Black Widow. Because, I'm going to explain why. Number one, she has a movie, and it's a prequel movie, which I get, right? But why would you give the character any sort of movie, whether it's a backstory or a current movie, if you're just going to kill the character, right?
True.
You might as well not do that. It logically doesn't make sense. Like, oh, she's been in the MCU for like a decade, and now all of a sudden, now that she's exited, now she's going to have a movie? That doesn't make much sense to me. Also, like I said in my spoiler review video or whatever, and also in this podcast, actually, if for Hawkeye, if he were to die, it would be more sad because of his family. Like, he has a family now. That would be very sad. And also, for the Hawkeye TV show, it would give his daughter more of a motive to become Hawkeye and take up the mantle. So I really thought that Clint would die.
And about Ronan actually, he wasn't really in the movie. He was just in Japan for the 5 years, and we only saw him for about 2 minutes. And then he came, and he was just Hawkeye, which is fine. I expected Ronan to have a bigger part, but then it's fine.
Yeah, me too. I liked Ronan still. I liked Hawkeye in general because I feel like he was a mix between both. Because usually Ronan uses swords and blades like a ninja. And then when Hawkeye came, he has the same suit and swords and everything. But he also has his classic bow, which I liked.
And then there's Asgard getting the Reality Stone.
Oh, yeah. I was just talking about Asgard. I love the scene where Rocket and Thor went. Actually, I'm torn between that scene. I like it and I don't like it because I like when Rocket and Raccoon's like running away from the guards or whatever. But I also kind of thought of it as a slow scene. I don't know why I didn't really like that scene.
And then as soon as he summoned Mjolnir, I kind of knew that Cap was gonna wield it at some point.
I thought that Cap was gonna wield it in Infinity War. That's what I thought. And then over like the year and a half or whatever since Infinity War came out, and then it was Endgame, I just completely forgot about it. But that was great. I just love seeing the two hammers in action. I love seeing Cap wield it also. We've been waiting for that for so long.
And then there's Nebula and War Machine.
Oh yes, that was the entire reason that Thanos actually attacked. Without that, oh yeah.
Thanos in this movie is so sinister, like way more than Infinity War. Like he's
so much more ruthless and dangerous.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna burn this world to cinder and ashes. I'm like, okay, buddy. Because in Infinity War, he was doing a bad thing, but he thought he was doing a good thing. He legitimately thought that he was saving the universe. But in this, he's like, nope, I'm just gonna kill everyone, and then I'm just gonna rebuild it the way I want.
And then he just completely bombards the Avengers headquarters.
Yeah, that was insane. Like Professor Hulk snaps, and then Nebula lets him in.
I think someone should have died there.
Me too.
War Machine.
It doesn't make much sense.
War Machine should have died there. Is what
I think War Machine too. I was thinking, I put this in my death predictions video. I think that either War Machine or Nebula or both should have died in the movie. Because only two characters really died, and then Cap just left. But it doesn't really make sense. I feel like more characters should have went. It's a big movie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But eventually they'll probably die in the future of the MCU.
Probably, but I feel like for Nebula and stuff, it just would have made the most sense to die. Because her entire story arc is basically based off Thanos. Right?
And then the big three go and fight Thanos, which is when you get the crowd cheering moment of Cap lifting Mjolnir, which is when my theater just went crazy. From then on, they were clapping all the time.
That was great. I love that scene. That final fight scene, it reminds me of the Ready Player One. Have you seen the movie Ready Player One?
Yeah.
The final scene where all of the characters and stuff are fighting. You remember that scene?
Yeah.
In Ready Player One?
But in this, you actually care about the characters.
Yeah. So it was even better than that. I love that. I loved I really thought Cap was gonna die, but then when Sam Wilson or Falcon starts talking through the radio or whatever, he's just like, on your left. I'm just like, oh no, Thanos is so screwed.
And then everyone comes out through the portals. And I actually saw this on Instagram. Someone pointed out that you could see Howard the Duck in the background coming out of one of the portals.
Really?
Yeah, just like a little duck.
Oh my god, I want to see that. I want to know how many characters were actually there, because there must have been more than just that I saw.
Once the movie comes out on Blu-ray, we can pause at every scene and look at who's all there.
Yeah. There's also... have you read the Infinity Gauntlet comic?
Some of it, yeah.
But you know that Adam Warlock plays a big role in that, right?
Yes.
I really wanted Adam Warlock to show up.
I didn't think he would, because they already confirmed that they were saving him for Guardians 3, so.
Oh, I didn't know that. It's just, I didn't really expect him to come, but I still like him to come. It's been, forever. It feels like it's been forever since
And then there's the big fight, and they're trying to get the gauntlet across.
Yeah, that was great. They just kept passing it to everyone. When Black Panther got it, that was so awesome. Because he's an athlete, right? He was running really fast and duking them out, going under them and over them and stuff. And then Captain Marvel gets it.
And one of my favorite moments in the whole movie, Scarlet Witch and her full power was just awesome, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, when she's just you ruined my life or whatever, and Thanos is like, I don't even know you.
And then, that's her true power. In the comics, she's very powerful. But in the MCU, she's kind of nerfed, but now she can just unleash everything.
Obviously the majority of characters are more powerful in the comics, right? And then it's not only Scarlet Witch.
Another question, in the snap that killed the bad guys, do you think that Gamora was snapped?
Like the 2014 Gamora?
Yeah.
I don't think so, no. I think that the reason that Thanos' army died is because Tony Stark wished for that to happen.
And do you think...
So I don't think that he would wish for Gamora to die.
And is Thor going to be in Guardians 3?
That is what I thought. I think he will be, yes. Because why else would they put him on a ship and have him rivaling Peter Quill for captain if he was just going to leave 5 minutes later, right?
And I just think...
And I feel like with Groot and Rocket in Infinity War, he had a really big connection with them.
I just think that he's a little too powerful to put on the Guardians team.
To be honest, you're right, but Thor's a god. Couldn't you say that about him being on the Avengers as well?
Yeah, true. And then we also have the other ending scene, the funeral, which is an awesome scene.
Oh, yeah, Tony Stark's funeral scene.
And
you know when... Oh, actually, yeah, go.
You have everyone. What I really like at the end, it's just one continuous shot, and then Nick Fury just steps in, which is kind of symbolic because Nick Fury just sees what he wanted to do. He wanted to get people to defend the Earth. He succeeded in that.
I know. Just seeing all of those people that he got since Tony Stark. Tony Stark has really come full circle. He went from being some, like, playboy kind of douchebag, he's rich, he doesn't care, to, like, settling down, sacrificing himself, having a family, saving the universe, being a really great hero. He's come a long way.
And there was even Harley was there from Iron Man 3, and I didn't notice this in the theater, but I saw it on Instagram later. Thunderbolt Ross was actually there.
Oh, wait, what, really?
Yeah, at the very back, which is because they never got along, but he still bothered to show up for the funeral.
Oh, damn. I remember that, because also in the post-credit scene for The Incredible Hulk, I remember Tony Stark's in it.
Yeah.
With General Ross. So that's mainly how I know him. Isn't in the comics General Ross supposed to be like Red Hulk?
He does become Red Hulk, yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved to see that in the movie. Anyway, we're getting a little off topic.
And then
some other things I just wanted to talk about is do you think that this is better than Infinity War?
When I first walked out of the theater, I was kind of split, but the more I thought about it, yeah, I think it's better.
When I first walked out of the theater, I thought no. Now I'm thinking it's either equal. I think it's equal because they're two completely different films, right? Yeah. Endgame is supposed to be like the aftermath to Infinity War, but still, it's still like different movies. Infinity War is about stopping the snap, kind of, and this is also kind of like stopping the snap, but it's mixed in with like, you know, time travel and all these new aspects. So they're different movies. And Infinity War, I think, was more exciting, and this movie was kind of more like a closer to everything. There's still a few unanswered questions, like what happened to the Gamora from 2014,
and Loki,
what happened to the Loki, who got the Tesseract and left.
And
There's still a few unanswered questions, but I think for the most part, the reason that the movie wasn't as exciting at times is just because it was trying to wrap everything up.
And also Vision is still a mystery.
Yeah, because isn't there going to be a Disney Plus show called WandaVision?
Yeah, and I heard it was set in the past. I think one of the actors confirmed it.
Oh, if it's set in the past, then he's dead. He's dead. I just thought that it was going to be set in present day.
And another thing I was thinking, there's with Far From Home, you know how there was a rumor going around that the next trailer would be after Endgame because it would have a spoiler?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be that Far From Home is a prequel. And I didn't originally think that, but now I do because in the snap, in the 5 years after the snap, the people that didn't die, they would have aged to 21. But then Peter Parker and everyone that died would still be the right high school age, so it doesn't really make much sense. So I think it will be a prequel.
What if Ned also snapped? He got snapped away.
Yeah, that could have happened too, but everyone that didn't would be 21 or something like that. So I think it's going to be a prequel.
I don't think it's going to be a prequel just because they should have said that, because everyone was going on the internet and everyone was saying like, "Oh, this is going to be like it's going to be Spider-Man's definitely going to come back, right? Because he has a sequel." But if they were to be like, "No, this is actually a prequel," then it would be like, oh my god, maybe Spider-Man doesn't come back, you know? And I feel like they just would have said that.
Were you a supporter of the dead characters are in the Soul Stone theory before Endgame come out?
Yes and no.
I
Kind
was
of.
never.
It kind of makes sense if you think about it, but I don't think it's true because of what Spider-Man said. He said that it felt like he was sleeping, and then Doctor Strange woke him up like 5 seconds later.
And there was also the theories that there was an alternate dimension where the people that got snapped watched the other half get snapped and created 2 dimensions. I was never supporting of those theories because Thanos didn't want to create 2 dimensions. Thanos didn't want to trap the Avengers. He just wanted to kill them. He just wanted to kill half. There was nothing else to it.
Oh, and people actually think that there was like an alternate universe like that was made and stuff where the other half tries to fight back.
And then and I heard some people when the first Far From Home trailer came out that it was in that universe. I never thought that.
Oh, that's just some of these Marvel fan theories are just crazy. I was actually thinking of making a YouTube video about like 5 really dumb Marvel theories. I'm not gonna do it now because there's a lot of dumb theories for Endgame. But yeah, stuff like that is just really, really stupid.
And then there's crap, I don't know what I was gonna say. And then
I have something to say if you don't have to say anything.
Yep. Go.
Do you think that it's okay for the directors and actors to lie about their movies? I think it is, but what do you think?
For a movie like this, for the Marvel movies, yes. But if it was just like some random little, just small action movie that came out and they said, oh, and they lied about that, then no.
Yeah, I think that it's fine. For example, for Endgame, the Russos lied about, like, they said all of this stuff that we saw in the trailer happened within the first hour, the first act. But then we got scenes from, like, the final fight scene.
Most of it was in the first little bit, but then there was just a couple scenes of them in the final fight.
Yeah, and there's a scene with Clint Barton running away from the Outriders. There's a scene with Thanos, like, holding up his Infinity Blade. There's also, there's a lot of them. I don't want to go over it, but there's a lot of things that the Russos lied about. And Robert Downey Jr., like I said in my other video, he lied about the ending. He said that it would be unpredictable, but it kind of wasn't.
In my theory, I made a whole video on it, that Thanos would attack the Avengers headquarters. Came true.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised about that, in all honesty. Like, what else would he be attacking, right? It makes the most sense.
True. And then the final scene is a really good one. Cap is having that final dance with Peggy.
I love seeing that. Because when you see, like, the old cars outside, and I'm just like, oh, it's going to be a flashback, and then we see it.
I assumed it would be where the dance that happened directly after First Avenger, like the dance room, that he would just walk into that, but what happened was fine also.
Yeah, I've said this before and I'll say it again, I kind of just wanted Sam Wilson to see a gravestone that said Steve Rogers instead of actually seeing Steve, because I'd rather him be dead and just have that closure.
That would also work too, but what I think will happen now is Old Man Steve, they could go the Old Man Steve route like in the comics, but what I think has happened, he'll have maybe a couple scenes in the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show, but he'll die in the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show, which will serve as the main motivation.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I think he's gonna be in the TV show. I'd rather him die in something bigger than the TV show, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen that way.
So is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
The one last thing I want to say is, do you think that part of this was comic accurate? Because the Russos, before this came out, they said that it was going to be like, they're going to be branching off completely away from comic territory. But I noticed while watching it, there was a few things that reminded me of the comics. Do you feel that way? Is there anything that reminded you of comic books that you've read?
I don't read much comics books. I'll read a couple that really interest me. Like, I prefer DC comics in general, but I read a little bit of the Infinity Gauntlet one. I heard in the comics about the Hail Hydra thing and him wielding Mjolnir. I think that happened in the comics, but other than that...
and him breaking his shield and all that.
Other than that, I think it's like... Because you can't really follow the comics, because you've already built up this whole universe, and you can't just suddenly change it all by doing the comics. So I think it made sense that it wasn't really about the comics.
I'm fine with it not being about the comics. I did notice a few things that were similar. And my final question to you is, what was the most shocking scene and what was the most expected scene? Like the scene that you expected the most, and the scene that you did not expect the most.
Expected? I strongly believed it would be Captain Marvel to save Tony, so I kind of expected that. And then shocking, there's a lot. There's the Black Widow death. That was shocking. I wouldn't say the Cap lifting Mjolnir was shocking. So most scenes, they weren't really shocking. They were just surprising. So shocking, if you're going that route, I had to say the Black Widow death.
For me, for expected, I expected everyone to come back. And for shocking, or I guess surprising, it surprised me that Black Widow died. And it also kind of surprised me that we did have the 5-year time jump, and that Tony did have a kid, and that Thanos got beheaded within the first half an hour, and that we had Fat Thor.
Okay, so that's our spoiler review of Endgame. This is going to be a nightmare to edit all the pictures and stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to edit, but we did it. We should do this again sometime.
Yeah, maybe for another movie or a future theory video.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But
I'm going to hang up now.
Okay, anyway, thanks guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video.